Today we have a first-time community moment presenter, John Hyatt. So let's give John a warm welcome.
Thanks, Mike. I grew up in southern Indiana.
Did you?
Yeah,
Where?
Bloomington.
Did you? I went to school in IU.
Uh-huh.
Actually, my father was at IU when I was born.
Yeah, I was thinking about IU and Bloomington and Brown County. It's a gorgeous area, and how relaxing that is just to hear you sing this morning. That was great. That was great. I've been coming to Houston Oasis for maybe four months now, 4 or 5 months, something like that. And I love the combination of learning and sharing and socializing that goes on here. And I think that there's a lot of just stress management that takes place just by coming here and being part of this community. And that's just wonderful. And I've also learned some fascinating new repertoire of techniques that's been shared here. You know, everything from playing the cowbell to a Bulgarian joke to clapping and whatever else I haven't heard yet. But it's a great community, and keep those things up. And if you're stressed at work and playing the cowbell when you're frustrated with your supervisor, if that's what works, by all means do that. Chris is not here today, is he? I don't see him here. Okay. But I do want to share some thoughts about work stress, and also later on about what the Oasis community could do maybe to help us address some of these work stresses. It's a serious concern, work stress. I've been working at MD Anderson Cancer Center for about 15 years now, managing the employee assistance program, and I've worked in some capacity for the last 30 years helping employees and supervisors and organizations deal with work stress. And things have changed a little bit. You know, every industry, every organization thinks they're uniquely stressed and uniquely crazy. And really, it's very similar from one organization to another, and even one industry to another, in terms of the stresses. But the data is saying something a little bit different in the last few years. We still have lots of us and lots of employees that are concerned about benefits and poor pay, but increasingly it's the people issues that people are stressed about, you know, getting along with others, feeling devalued, feeling that they're treated unfairly by the organization or by their supervisors or by their coworkers. These things, according to data, are increasing, and so it's really people-oriented, feeling harassed, feeling like they don't have enough control in their jobs, or their work-life balance is not what it should be. So these are the things that are increasingly in the data and the research, the concerns of employees. So, you know, what do these things have in common? What they have in common is that these are closely related to our relationships with people at work. So it really does suggest that we have to pay attention to dealing with our coworkers and our supervisors, because they're the source of these stresses, indirectly or directly. But paradoxically, they're also the source of what helps. You know, it's the people in the organization that can help us with resources, that can help us with information and guidance and mentoring and coaching, and so we have to deal with people more effectively. So I think cultivating and nurturing our workplace relationships is a key now to managing stress like it never has been before. So make it a priority. It takes time to cultivate relationships at work. It's well worth it, because if we don't have a support system on the job, and when there is a crisis, things do get messy. So again, the employees and the coworkers may be the source of our stress, but they're also the source of our help in many cases. Now, when I say support, I'm not talking about necessarily having really close relationships where you have a whole lot in common and they're your soulmates at work. That rarely happens. In fact, a large portion of people that we work with we really don't like, or we really don't have, we don't have much in common with. But we can still have effective relationships with those folks. So in the time that I've got here, I just want to focus on 3 quick areas around social support that I think are important in my experience. One is feedback. We're not getting enough feedback from coworkers and supervisors with regard to how we're coming across or that we're validated and reassured about our work. So that's one area to focus in on. The other one is just plain a go-to person, information. We need people. We need people that we can turn to that have answers, that have guidance, that have experience, that can be informal mentors and coaches to handle certain situations. Or let's say you've got a strained relationship with a supervisor and you need help with that. Sometimes the best help is a coworker who also reports to that supervisor, who knows some strategies about how to communicate with that individual supervisor. So again, those coworkers can be a real important source of support. So it doesn't mean that if you're basically a loner on the job that you're going to completely go crazy and psychotic if you don't have a support network. But most of us do need some level of interaction, effective interaction on the job, or where we will have problems. So I want to mention, before I talk about Oasis and how maybe we can help each other in some ways with workplace stresses and career issues, let me mention just 5 quick areas that I use sometimes working with employees to address workplace stress, particularly the people factors. It's a 5-question worksheet. So number 1 is just ask more feedback. Think about someone that you feel could be your supervisor. Now remember, supervisors are supposed to give us feedback. 360 feedback, I don't know if you've heard that expression, but or that strategy when it comes to performance evaluations is really valuable. It's really valuable when we have supervisors that will give us timely and effective, constructive and supportive feedback. But listen, that doesn't always happen. It doesn't always happen, and we have to take the initiative to ask for that feedback and find ways to appropriately elicit that feedback. And if we don't get enough reassurance from a supervisor, get it from coworkers who also know how you do the work that you do. So focus on maybe 1 or 2 people at work that you can concentrate on asking for better feedback. Seek out advice. Again, that informal mentoring or coaching from someone. If you are new to an organization or new to a job, this might be particularly important, and that's get to know someone. Take the time, get a lunch buddy. Take the time to cultivate some of those relationships. It does take time, but it has got to be a priority. Managing stress nowadays in the workplace is not a luxury anymore. It is a priority. It should be an essential job function to figure out how to manage your day-to-day stress on the job. It is that critical. So spending more time with someone might be one of your goals. Also, spending less time with someone might be one of your goals. Someone who you feel takes away your energy and is always negative and complaining all the time and whatever. That may not be what you want to do in terms of providing support. Okay, so what about our community? What about Oasis in terms of what we could do to maybe address some of these? First of all, we already are, because we're here, we have opportunities to get to know each other, to socialize and to have fun and get our minds away from work, which may be the best stress reducer for a lot of us, and play the cowbell, whatever. So just being here and getting away from work and not talking about it may be the stress reducer for many of you. But remember that we're getting larger. As we get larger, we have people that do have things in common that might be of help to each other. We've got all ages here. We've got young folks that are starting out their careers, students, and we've got people that are retired. So we've got small groups that might have things in common. Let's say, for example, we've got someone who's starting out their career and they're interested in research in an area that maybe people that have experience can reach out to those folks, or that there can be some discussion about, hey, if you want a career in this area, this is some of the things that you may want to pay attention to. One of the problems with such specialized work that we do nowadays is that there's so many stressful problems because of poor fit with the job. Hiring people is such an inexact science, and you get people that, in my area, in healthcare, you have, let's say I was just dealing with bedside nurses that move into the research area. That's a completely different animal. And they don't have the opportunity sometimes to really get a feel for what that is. So maybe there's small groups in here that can share their knowledge and experience about certain areas, oil and gas industry, healthcare, whatever. So we might be able to do that. Or even have some small group discussions maybe later on when we have a place to have those discussions. I'll tell you the area that I'm interested in terms of career and work, and that's retiring, transitioning to retiring, because I'm going to be facing that before too long. So networking with people that have been there and done that, might be helpful. So look for role models in this group, hopefully positive role models, but we can also learn from negative role models too. So when people have gone down the wrong path, that can sometimes be a wake-up call. So again, think about when you deal with workplace stress, the interactions with others and what you can do in terms of your strategy to manage stress, to address those people issues. And then also be thinking about maybe what we can do as a group to help each other or to introduce each other to common elements around work and career issues and transitions. Thank you.